أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الرحمن علم القرآن خلق الإنسان علمه البيان. الشمس والقمر بحسبان والنجم والشجر يسجدان والسماء وأقيموا الوزن بالقسط ولا تخسروا الميزان والأرض وضعها للأنام فيها فاكهة والنخل ذات الأكمام والحب ذو العصف والريحان. فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. शुरू अल्लाह के नाम से जो बड़ा मेहरबान निहायत रहम करने वाला है। वही रहमान है। उसी ने इंसान को कुरान सिखाया। उसी अल्लाह ने इंसान को पैदा किया और उसे बोलना सिखाया। आफताब और माहताब मुकर्ररा हिसाब से चल रही हैं और सितारे और दरख्त सब अल्लाह को सजदा अदा करते हैं। उसी ने आसमान को बुलंद कर दिया और उसी ने तराजू रखी ताकि तुम तोलने में तजावुज न करो। इंसाफ के साथ वजन को ठीक रखो और तोल में कमी ना किया करो। उसी ने मखलूक के लिए जमीन बिछा दी जिसमें मेवे हैं और खुशे वाले खजूर के दरख्त हैं और भुस वाला अनाज है और खुशबूदार फूल हैं। बस ए इंसानों और जिन्नों, तुम अपने परवरदिगार की कौन कौन सी नेमत को झुटलाओगे।
Now I would like to call Muhammad Kashif Atari for Naate Rasool Maqbool sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Salli ala nabiyyina salli ala Muhammadin salli ala shafi'ina salli ala زمین و زمان تمہارے لیے مکین و مکان تمہارے لیے چنین و چنا تمہارے سکہ نشان تمہارے لیے اشارے سے چاند چیر دیا چھپے ہوئے پر کو پھیر لیا گئے ہوئے دل عصر کیا یہ تاب و توان تمہارے لیے صبا وہ چلے کہ باغ کھلے وہ پھول کھلے کہ دل ہو بھلے سنا میں کھلے رضا کی زبان تمہارے لیے زمین و زمان تمہارے لیے مکین و مکان تمہارے
سبحان اللہ جزاک اللہ. Now, I would call the Conference Secretary, Dr. Kamran Ishfaq, Chairman, Department of Sociology, to please grace our guests with a welcome note and the importance of this academic event.
Assalamu alaikum. In the name of Allah, who is the most beneficent and the most merciful, on behalf of Department of Sociology, Bahauddin Zakariya University Multan, I warmly welcome to all of you in the Contemporary Issues in Sociology and Public Health Conference at BZ Multan. We are very grateful to our worthy Vice Chancellor for giving us opportunity to organize this international conference at BZ Multan, and we are very thankful to our distinguished keynote speaker, especially Professor Dr. Hazrullah, Director, School of Sociology, Qaid-e-Azam University, Islamabad, Professor Dr. Ahmad Usman, Institute of Social and Cultural Studies, Qaid-e-Azam University, Punjab University, Lahore, Professor Dr. Rana Malik, Chairperson, Department of Gender Study, University of the Punjab, Professor Dr. Atar Mehboob, Vice Chancellor, the Islamia University of Balpur. Sir, thank you very much for your giving us your precious time. And we warmly welcome Professor Dr. Johar Ali, Vice Chancellor, Khoshal Khan Khattak University, Karak. And we are very thankful to our former Vice Chancellor, Qaid-e-Azam University, Islamabad, Professor Dr. Muhammad Ali Shah. Sir, thank you very much for giving us your precious time. Professor Dr. Muhammad Nizamuddin, former Chairman, Punjab Higher Education, Lahore, Pro-Rector, University of Central Punjab, Lahore. Sir, thank you very much. And our international speakers, Associate Professor, Professor Dr. Noura Zura bint Muhammadiyya. She is working as a head of department, Sociology and Anthropology, the International Islamic University, Malaysia. Dr. Balkis Khan from USA and Professor Dr. Hee So Lee from the University of Hayang, South Korea, and our distinguished keynote speaker, Professor Dr. Anita Weiss. She joined us. Shortly she will join us from University of Oregon, USA. So, sir, thank you very much for giving us your precious time at our international conference. The basic purpose of this international conference is to provide a platform to the researchers, scholars, and experts to present their research findings, experiences, policies, and case studies in the field of sociology and public health. I am pleased to share that the response of the call for papers was extremely positive, and we received 200 papers from the researchers from around the Pakistan as well as the other countries like Australia, Canada, Malaysia, occupied Kashmir, and India. So on the basis of blind review, out of 200 papers, 151 papers accepted by our review committee, and inshallah today and day after tomorrow, in 16 sessions, 151 researchers, they will present their research findings, their presentations in our 2-day conference. So I am very grateful to our faculty members, particularly Dr. Imtiaz Ahmed Abraij, Dr. Saima, Dr. Tamina, Dr. Asif, and our other visiting faculty members particularly. They work day and night for organizing this international conference. And our students, definitely we should acknowledge our students. They work very hard and organize this international conference. And in the end, we missed our Dean, Professor Dr. Imran Sheikh Chaudhry. He always supported us in our past international conferences. May Almighty Allah grant him high rank in Jannah. So thanks to everyone for giving us your precious time at our BZU Multan. Thank you very much.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum. I would like to invite Professor Dr. Muhammad Ali Shah. By the way, he joined back in our Department of Biotechnology after serving Vice Chancellor, Qaid-e-Azam University. Sir, welcome back home. He has been Vice Chancellor, Government College, University of Faisalabad. He has been awarded a number of awards like Tagma Imtiaz. Sir, please come on the stage and enlighten us.
Thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. डॉक्टर आज़र जो मेरी अभी प्रीवियस यूनिवर्सिटी है उसमें डायरेक्टर है स्कूल ऑफ सोशियोलॉजी का, तो मैंने आई टुक एन एडवांटेज कि मैं उनसे ये कहूँ कि मुझे बात करने दें। इस खित्ते का एक बड़ा ज़बरदस्त शायर है शाकिर शुजाबादी। उसका कलाम है कि खुदाया खुद हिफाजत कर तेरा फरमान दिखता है। ये हमारे कंटेम्प्रेरी इश्यूज़ में डॉक्टर जवाहर मैं तर्जुमा कर दूंगा अगर आपको सराहकी समझ ना आए, तो ये सब कुछ रिफ्लेक्ट कर देगा कि हमारे मुल्क में हो क्या रहा है। देयर इज़ अ पॉलिटिकल इंस्टेबिलिटी, देयर इज़ अ फाइनेंशियल इंस्टेबिलिटी, दे आर concerned about security issues in this country, they are concerned about your careers, because we are not sure that what will happen to the economy of this country, either we default or not. So this all contributes to the frustrations which we have. और इसके साथ साथ हमारा जो अभी जेंडर बायस वायलेंस का भी जो है वो उसके ऊपर भी हमारा 140th हम उस इंडेक्स में हैं। हमने औरत को कभी इंसान समझा नहीं, कमोडिटी समझा। हम चाहते हैं कि वो ज़िंदगी हमारी मर्ज़ी से गुजारे, हम ये चाहते हैं कि वो शादी हमारी मर्ज़ी से करे। जायदाद में हिस्से की हकदार वो नहीं है, ना वो इस्लाम उसकी इजाज़त देता है, ना आपकी सोसाइटी उसकी इजाज़त देती है। आप उनको पढ़ने नहीं देते, आप उनको आसमानों में उड़ने नहीं देते, तो फिर ये मुल्क तरक्की कैसे कर सकता है? Where 51% of your population is being deprived of their fundamental rights. इस्लाम तो वो मजहब है जिसमें if you look at the life of the prophet, के जो हमारे पैगंबर के घर की औरतों का रोल था, आप उसी को ही देख लें। आपका पैगंबर इस कायनात में सबसे बड़ी हस्ती है, और वो सबसे बड़ी हस्ती अपनी बेटी के इस्तकबाल में खड़ी हो जाती है। Can you imagine what is the role of a woman in an Islamic society?
Thank you so much, Dr. Muhammad Ali, for your critical insights. Now we would like to invite Professor Dr. Hazidullah. He is the Director of School of Sociology, Quaid-e-Azam University, Islamabad. Please come on the dais and share your critical insights with us. Thank you, sir.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Respected Professor Dr. Nizam, Pro Vice Chancellor Professor Dr. Aleem, Vice Chancellor Dr. Atar, Professor Dr. Jawhar Ali, all other distinguished guests, academic colleagues from Quaid-e-Azam University and Zakariya University and all other universities. Assalamu alaikum and a very pleasant good morning. I'm really honored to be a keynote speaker here, and I must say thank you to Professor Dr. Mansoor Akbar Kundi, Vice Chancellor, BZU, Dr. Kamran and his team for giving me this honor to stand here and share my experiences. I came with a different set of argument that let's we talk. What is our issue? Forget about the Western philosophy and forget about the Western theories and contexts. Let's we talk about own issues and how to fix it. And then I was also told that, as you know, that 25th November, which is today, is celebrated as International Day for Elimination of Violence Against Women. So I had to associate and connect my argument and slides with the day as well. Gender inequality, gender discrimination, or violence, gender-based violence, these phenomena are understood, perceived, and experienced differently by different scholars and people. Some may think of the gender-based violence or violence against women as just a normal phenomena which happens in human societies, and they would think that there's a progress that women around the world have made. If we compare today with the past, we have more women in higher education today, we have more women in banking sector, we have more women in businesses, we have more women in politics, we have women in military, we have women as vice chancellors, and they would speak like very optimistic about the society and the progress. But there are another club who would think of the contemporary human patriarchal society as a hell on earth for women, and they think that this existing patriarchal structure is discriminating and putting women to the corner and discriminating them to the extent that this society has to be changed. Now we can have both perspectives, and there can be another one that we are thinking that, okay, we cannot agree with the first one and we cannot agree with the second one, and let's say have a middle position where we say that there are problems, as Professor Dr. Muhammad Ali very elaborately explained, that there are problems and we have to settle it. Now, if we look into the number of violence that women are subjected to, my colleagues will explain the statistic. 736 million women around the world are subjected to violence. In Pakistan, in the last few years, recorded data said that more than 63,000 women were subjected to violence, physical violence, sexual violence, and all sort of other violence, excluding harassment, which is not there. What is the solution? Now, if you look at the slide, we have multiple dimensions of violence. That can be physical, that can be cultural, that can be spiritual, that can be emotional, that can be intellectual, and that can be economic, as the Vice Chancellor said, that only 2 women in that village was having a count, which is like a financial or economic violence against women. So, in different session today, we will listen to all sorts of violence against women. But what is the solution? As per my argument, I do believe that education is one of the key to bring an end or to eliminate violence against women, because illiteracy and economic deprivation is considered the key reasons for gender-based violence or violence against women.
It is an honor for me to introduce the next keynote speaker for our conference, Professor Dr. Ahmad Usman. Dr. Ahmad Usman is currently a professor of sociology at the Institute of Social and Cultural Studies, University of the Punjab, Lahore. He holds a PhD in sociology from University of Leeds, UK. His research interests are related to social stratification, gender and violence, sociology of health and illness, and political sociology. He has published more than 75 research papers in different HEC recognized impact factor peer-reviewed journals. Thank you so much, sir, for your presence. It is really an honor for us to listen to your critical insights. Please come on the stage. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. This conference on November 25 is a very timely event because of the sociological and public health significance associated with this day. For this conference, I was looking at the booklet they provided to us. They have specially arranged a panel discussion on the importance of sociological inquiry in understanding the changing gender power relations in Pakistan. This is something very important. और मैं अपनी टॉक जो है इसी के गिर्द करना चाहूँगा. Although Dr. Hazirullah has already set the tone. Now the question is how we can address this issue in our classroom teachings and research that we conduct, and we expect that our teaching and research will contribute towards society in certain ways. More importantly, we need to highlight our scholarly shortcomings when we discuss the importance of discipline of sociology and sociological inquiry in understanding the power dynamics between different genders. One of the difficult questions is that we need to acknowledge that the entirely scholarly discourse on gender and gendered power relations and violence against women is heavily inspired from and framed through Western perspectives, and we lack genuine indigenous scholarly input towards the understanding of the issue. We as academics, I'm talking about the Pakistani academia, we have generally lacked the ability to occupy a significant scholarly space when it comes to gender discourse in mainstream academia. Our perspective in scholarship, I'm talking, our perspective is nearly non-existent. It's all dominated by West. On the other side, West is not that welcoming either to give that academic space to our genuine scholarly ideas that are indigenous in nature and may bring an alternate perspective toward the understanding of gender relations in modern world. Most of the students and the audience, I expect, we come from the social sciences, and you people know the basic premises of the social sciences. And we all know that while the construction of femininity and masculinity, gender roles and the relationships have contextual underpinnings, the indicators to evaluate their suitability for our society, I'm talking about Pakistani society, are heavily Western. This is unfortunate.
The next dignitary is Ms. Bilkis Khan, who is the program evaluator, data analyst, strategic planner, trained epidemiologist, public health professional in Minnesota, United States. She has more than 25 years of professional experience in public health and developing and developed countries. Moreover, she has also experience and expertise in conducting process and outcome evaluations. She is an expert in managing health information surveillance systems and directing population-based cross-sectional surveys. Online, please.
Good afternoon for those people who are joining us globally, and good morning to everyone who is in Pakistan right now. My name is Bilkis Khan. Currently, I'm working for CDC, which is Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. And today, whatever I'm going to talk about, that doesn't reflect intentions or the expressions of CDC. So that's what generally we like to make sure that everybody knows that.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Thank you, Dr. Kamran, holding this international conference, really a timely response. And almost, I must mention, Nizam Sahab would recall me if I'm not correct exactly. We are meeting almost after 5-6 years again on this stage in the international conference. Dr. Imtiaz, Dr. Nizam, and a few others were there on the stage as well. So credit goes to the organizer of this event, a mega event, timely response really. Speakers spoke very well. And Dr. Nizam Sahab, a very close friend of mine, years have been to our friendship, almost for the last 10 years we are here as vice chancellors in different universities. Then Dr. Athar, I think this is the first time of us we are meeting. And Aleem Sahab, Pro-Vice Chancellor Sahab, Ahmed Sahab, Professor of Sociology, Imtiaz Sahab, Madam, and Dr. Hazrullah. And I'm seeing students and friends here in the audience and their students. Yesterday when I came, we've been having a chit-chat that what should we talk about. And I've been sitting, Dr. Farhan is witness to it. Let's talk out of the box. We've been talking about all times the Western philosophy as referred by Dr. Ahmed, if I'm not wrong. And different solutions used to be coming with time. Let's talk about our own society, our own analysis, and our own solutions as well. One thing important, it is recalling me a story of a conference which was organized in 1996 in UK. Nizam Sahab, this is very critical. 1996 में एक international conference बुलाया गया, and this happened in United Kingdom. And the issue was, the title was Theoretical Impasse. The realization was, there is no practicable theory now to ensure development in the third world in particular. I am surprised that the academia, they realize this particular issue and they surface it and put that before the scholars to give a way out. This is the time for us as well in Pakistan, and really very important for us. Why the same doesn't happen in Pakistan? Why don't we speak about our own issues? And why we are not coming up with solutions? तो किया हुआ 1996 में different scholars from different corners of the world, they joined and they spoke. And they've been focusing on what would be the way forward. So believe me, series of papers were published in response to that particular international conference. And the people been trying how to write more so that to help the third world in particular to move them out of this particular circle of chaos and underdevelopment as well. Abhi to, when I came here, I thought to myself, we've been teaching since long, and we've been talking about our own issues as well. Kya karna chahiye now? We had detailed discussions. If this is the university, what is our performance? We've been doing rightly, and what do we need to do now? And definitely, we've been asking questions from ourselves and other friends as well. So वहाँ पे जब United Kingdom में ये हुआ, तो after that they came up that there is a way out as well. जब ये conference की बात आ गई तो I thought that we would touch the same over here as well, कि हमें क्या करना चाहिए. Pakistani society यहाँ पे what are the particular problems और कौन सी issue है we can address it now. Mostly people are asking us as vice chancellors and teachers what you've been doing, what you have done, and definitely they are right as well to ask the same question from us as well. And we are asking the same question other people as well. What do we need to do now? So there definitely questions are coming from our side, questions are coming from their side as well, and there is no practicable solution so far.
The Pro Vice Chancellor, Bahauddin Zakariya University, international and national delegates, faculty members and students, Assalamu alaikum. I had my written speech in English language, but I would like to take the liberty which some earlier speakers also took and spoke in Urdu to connect directly with some of the participants. I am neither a sociologist nor a public health professional. I am an academic and an engineer by my profession. But when I received this invitation, I was very excited. जब मुझे ये invitation मिली, क्योंकि ये दोनों जो topics हैं, sociology और public health, ये मेरे दिल के बहुत अरसे से बहुत करीब थे और मैं practically इनके ऊपर काम करता रहा. तो मैं आपसे शेयर करना चाहूँगा, लेकिन उससे पहले मैं बहुत ज़्यादा अप्रिशिएट करूँगा कॉन्फ्रेंस ऑर्गेनाइजर्स को. ये तकरीबन जैसे उन्होंने बताया था कि 160 प्लस पेपर्स प्रेजेंट होंगे और तकरीबन 15 डिफरेंट ब्रेकआउट सेशंस होंगे. तो ये एक ट्रेमेंडस अपॉर्चुनिटी है. हर प्रेजेंटेशन एक लेक्चर होगा जिससे आपको सुन के एक खुलासा मिलेगा एक पर्टिकुलर फोकस एरिया का. किसी शख्स ने साल 2 साल 3 साल जो मेहनत की है उससे आपके कॉन्सेप्ट्स बहुत जल्दी से डेवलप होंगे. तकरीबन जैसे उन्होंने बताया था कि 200 के करीब सबमिशंस थे और तकरीबन 165 या समथिंग एक्सेप्ट हुए, जो कि एक्चुअली बिल्कुल ठीक चीज़ है कि 80% आपने पेपर्स एक्सेप्ट किए और एक वाइड रेंज ऑफ सब्जेक्ट्स को विद इन दैट सोशियोलॉजी और पब्लिक हेल्थ डोमेन्स में रिसर्चर्स को अपॉर्चुनिटी दी कि वो प्रेजेंट करें, वो इंटरनेट आपस में नेटवर्किंग करें, कोलैबोरेशन अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ देखें। हमारे टेक्निकल एरियाज़ में अनफॉर्चुनेटली इंटरनेशनल लेवल पे बहुत सारी कॉन्फ्रेंसेस होती हैं जिसमें इसका रिवर्स होता है कि जब 200 सबमिशंस होते हैं तो उसमें से सिर्फ 30 और 35 एक्सेप्ट होते हैं तो दिल टूट जाता है, या हो जाता है तो बड़ी प्राइड की बात होती है, आप हर एक को बताते हैं। लेकिन मैं समझता हूँ कि जैसे बहुत सारे कीनोट स्पीकर्स ने कहा कि सोशियोलॉजी और इन आइडियाज़ को भी हमें कॉन्टेक्चुअलाइज करना पड़ेगा कि अपने कॉन्टेक्स्ट में इनको मज़ीद डेवलप करें। तो इसी तरह जैसे आपने किया हमारी यूनिवर्सिटी में भी इसी तरह करते हैं, और मैं समझता हूँ ये हमारे कॉन्टेक्स्ट में बेहतर है कि ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा पेपर्स एक्सेप्ट किए जाएँ, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोगों को मौका दिया जाए कि वो अपने काम को प्रेजेंट करें, दूसरों से शेयर करें, दूसरों को समझाएं और उनसे क्रिटिक लें और फिर कोलैबोरेशन की अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ देखें।
Being a student of gender studies and also a chair of a department of gender studies at Punjab University, I think I need to highlight some of the issues which are just being brought out. Before that, as we are commemorating the 16 days of activism on violence against women, so I just want to say something on these 16 days which we all celebrate all over the world and show our commitment to reduce or to eliminate at the extent what we can do to eliminate violence against women from our society. And as we all know, this year the United Nations theme of the year is also Unite to end violence against women and girls especially. So unite is the key word which we have for this year particularly, but this is a universal word definitely, that we all come together and as a collective look for the solutions as a collective wisdom. I would like to put some of the facts before talking more on this subject. It's a universal fact that 1 out of 3 women, they experience violence during their lifetime. And this could be any kind of violence. It could be sexual violence, it could be psychological violence, which mental violence or psychological violence which we least talk about and which we all women face. And I say all, it means that yes, during our lifetimes, all of the women go through the psychological violence. It could be physical violence, any sort of violence. And then 1 in the 5 women in the age of around, before getting 18 or 16, they get married. So that is the child marriages. And 40% of the women globally, and in my recent research, which I will quote, around 89% women in Pakistan who have experienced violence don't go to the police or any other authority to report any such incidents. So these are some of the facts which I want to put forward before I would say that what is the situation, what are the contemporary issues we are facing in our society regarding women. So I want to focus on the 2 issues. One is the child marriage and the other one is reporting violence against women. As I said, in the recent last 2 or 3 years, I have conducted 2 studies which were on the harassment of women faced on the streets of Pakistan. And there were about 6 different cities in which we conducted these surveys. And there were big metropolitan cities like Lahore, Karachi, then Rawalpindi, then Quetta, which is again a provincial capital, Peshawar. Then we went to the interior Sindh, Dadu, Khairpur, to find out that what are the differences culturally and by cities, if we are living in a big city or in a small city like Dadu. You will be surprised to know that there were hardly any differences in the kind of violence being faced by women in Lahore or Karachi or in Dadu or Khair. So the mindset is the same. So that is the underlying message which I want to give, that the mindset is the same. If a woman in Lahore is facing like the major kind of harassment types which came were like staring, stalking, inappropriate comments, touching, getting obscene gestures, etc. So these was the one which were reported from all the cities we surveyed. So very confidently, as this study covers more than 10,000 women across 6 cities of Pakistan, I would say yes, the women in Pakistan are not free to move, and they feel fear while coming on the streets. And I think that all the women sitting in this hall will agree with me that we don't feel secure when we are in the streets, in the buses, in the parks, in the shopping areas, wherever a public space is, we don't feel secure. We always feel that there is some kind of harassment which we are going to face, which we have faced, or we are going to face while we are in public. So this is the kind of society in which women of Pakistan of today is living. And when I talk about violence, this is a violence we are facing and which we should not. Why a male feels secure, why a female not? Why it is that when I enter a bus, I always feel like someone is going to touch me? Why? Why this happens to a girl, a young girl? Why the young girls are being raped, as is recently being reported in the newspapers? And unfortunately, most of them are murdered. So this is, and why the women, why the young girls are given in customs like Vani, why they are given in Savara, why Karokai, why the girls are always targeted. So this is what is happening. When we talk about violence, when we see the statistics, it's 145 position of Pakistan out of 147 countries from the last 3 years in the Gender Equality Index. So why it is so? Where is the problem?
There was, of course, time when the queen was crowned in the ancient kingdom and the political authority of a woman was absolute. During the medieval time, the status and rights of women were not much different from men in such family life as economic power, inheritance, and sister rights. The matrilocal marriage was quite common for man to live in his wife's house. The mother had the same rights as her son because she was heir to her prosperity and was able to handle her property at her disposal. Son and daughter had ancestral rights alternately. But the establishment of the paternal and patriarchal tradition in Korea today seems to be the result of Confucian tradition and Confucian-based educational system. During the 500 years of Joseon dynasty, Confucianism was a national ideology, and all the social system and family relations were transformed into patrilineal and patriarchal structure. Women were throughout excluded from inheritance and sister worship and community decision making. Adult men and women were taboo to face each other or meet freely as a societal custom of a boy and girl should not sit together at the age of 7, almost the same tradition of the Islamic culture. According to the result of a 2021 study on the violence against women, the 16.1% women had experienced psychological, sexual, emotional, or financial violence were controlled at the hand of intimate partners such as current or former spouse or partners. Among them, 46% of victims of violence against women were victimized by perpetrators with whom they had intimate relationship. But in 1983, the Korean government agreed United Nations Convention on the eliminating of all forms of discrimination against women. In 1998, the Korean government enforced 2 domestic violence laws. The first one, the Special Act for the Punishment of Domestic Violence. The second one is Act on the Prevention of Domestic Violence and Protection.
Sociology in Pakistan started after the social work department. It started in FC College, Lahore, not in Punjab University. Then it moved on to Punjab University and came to Karachi University. Now I'm very pleased to see the Department of Sociology flourishing in almost all universities. And the most flourishing I can see in Zakariya University, you have a very strong sociology department and so many PhDs are working here. It's a great tribute to the Vice Chancellor, supporting sociology department, and to the chairperson, Kamran Ashfaq, putting it together. It's a great thing to see so many young sociologists interested in sociology studies sitting in this hall. I've never seen such a large number of gathering in a sociology conference, except in Multan. So congratulations to you. I want to say a few things about the field, discipline of sociology. We heard a lot from very enthusiastic presentations, 3 presentations today. We as sociologists are not for social engineering. We don't find solutions. We are not supposed to find solutions. We're supposed to analyze and present the findings and say what are the policy implications, but you cannot say this is what should be done. So I think we should, this is my traditional old-fashioned sociology. Our job is to analyze. And no better country in the world provide for sociological analysis than Pakistan. Multicultural, multi-ethnic, multilingual, all these are often, this is paradise for heaven for sociologists to do research. But we have not been doing those research. The issues that have been raised in this podium, those are the kind of issues we should research, which we are not doing. For example, why should we not develop indigenous research topics and methods? It's because so many issues to discuss. But we are talking about, because this is a good thing that you are organizing such conferences, because it provides opportunity for researchers to present their research, which is a good thing. We should have a day or two set aside, but we should have a day like this one we were doing this morning to discuss the real issues of the discipline and where are we going, where are we heading from sociology, and how sociology has to change in this light of these changes that are taking place in Pakistan. How far can we focus on theoretical sociology? When sociology started in a very big way, it was rural sociology, Faisalabad Agriculture University. They were involved in those days, developing a lot of innovations, changes, and studying how innovations are working for the farmers. But those are the kind of things we were doing in the back in the 60s and 70s. So I suggest we should organize such conferences.
So I'd like to turn to my formal comments now. Today marks a momentous occasion in the history of humanity because the General Assembly's designated date of November 25th as the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. Indeed, this is reminiscent of the inferences of the first moon landing, a small step for the General Assembly to come together and vote on yet another day to mark something of importance to the global community, but a giant leap for humanity to finally unite and determine that violence against women, which has persisted since time immemorial, must no longer be socially condoned in any way whatsoever. Where does Pakistan stand on adhering to this aspiration? A complexity that intrudes on any discussion of women's rights in Pakistan is that different social factions based on region, class, sectarian ties, or a range of other factors, these different social factions are deeply divided over what constitutes women's roles and rights, what activities and privileges are acceptable and unacceptable for women, who is to define what these social roles and rights are, and where does responsibility lie for ensuring these rights? The prevailing conflict is, in a very important way, the culmination of domestic political events that began with Zia's Islamization program in 1979, which have been instrumental in transforming both state and society in Pakistan in many visible and also subtle ways. While laws in the legal environment have certainly changed, the Hudud laws, the Federal Shariat Bill, and the growing influence of the Federal Shariat Court and the Council of Islamic Ideology, the even more compelling transformation has been the concomitant rise in overall conservatism in the country. This conservatism has been fueled by a number of factors, including political and economic policies, at least during Zia's time and periodically since then, the rise of Islamist politics worldwide, and the growing numbers and influence of madrasas and various tabligh groups in Pakistan, which are teaching a far more orthodox interpretation of Islam than that commonly adhered to in the country in the past. I do believe that if anybody tried to introduce that bill today in Parliament, there's no way it would pass. But it passed in 1961, and it's phenomenal for women's rights in this country. This legislation was the first time a controversial bill in the arena of gender politics was promulgated in Pakistan. Efforts on behalf of the second to promote women's political representation can be seen in the futile attempt to have the government include a charter of women's rights in the first constitution. The argument also around Fatima Jinnah, being a woman, being allowed to contest the national election for the presidency in 1965, for which a fatwa was issued condoning her candidacy. Then the reservation of seats in the National Assembly for women in 1973. And finally, the fatwa that supported Benazir Bhutto becoming prime minister, as she would indubitably be leading her political party and not actually being the head of state, which is controversial in some interpretations of Islam, the whole notion of the Amir needing to be a man. Pakistan has also become a states party to a number of gender-focused UN human rights instruments, beginning with the 1953 Convention on the Political Rights of Women. And while Pakistan never ratified the subsequent UN Convention on the consent to marriage, minimum age for marriage, and registration of marriage, it claimed it went further than that convention's requirement when it promulgated the Muslim Family Laws Ordinance. And still in force, the MFLO requires the registration of all marriages and provides a number of safeguards for women in the event of a divorce or a husband's second marriage.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome the honorable guests, esteemed scholars, and devoted students at the International Conference on Contemporary Issues in Sociology and Public Health, hosted by the Department of Sociology, Bahauddin Zakariya University. Now, I'm not a pure sociologist, but I am a student of ornithology. I disagree with the name, the elimination of violence against women. It should be how to raise the grace of a woman rather than talking about any discriminations. It is the two ways to see the world. One way is to see with the conflicts, and the other way is to see with compromises. If you believe in compromises, the conflicts will reduce. If you see with the conflicts in mind, then conflicts will increase. So this is how we see the world. We had been, thank you very much. We had been living in this world for the last 1400 years as Muslims. And before that, before the Islam, there were not equal rights given to the woman. Here I quote a Hindu lady. She was doing PhD on the women's rights in University of Delhi. And she came out with the conclusion that Islam is the only religion that gives equal and durable rights to the woman. Rather than, no, what we have been told, I quote one of the KPK finance minister. He said, we put a project to the Asian Development Bank and asked them that we're going to do this work. We proposed the project and they said, no, you're not going to do it what you say. You're going to do it what we say. So they gave us the money with the instructions that you have to change your syllabus for the students. This is what happened with Japan. After Second World War, they devastated Japan. Nothing was there, no infrastructure, no social context, but culture was there. And they said, okay, if you want to kill us everybody, but we're not going to change the syllabus of our schools and education system. And that's why Japan came back to the power. What we have done, we have ruined our education system. And that education system was intact for the last 1400 years. 900 years of Ottoman Empire and Seljuk governments. If you see that, there's nothing wrong with the women's rights. But in 19th century, people like Parvos, people like Bell, people like Rothschild, they had an agenda to change the Ottoman Empire. And they did it by saying, Azadi, Azadi, hum aapko azadi dilana chahte hain. What kind of azadi you want to give us? You ruined the whole Islamic culture. You put us into pieces, sir. You didn't give us azadi. Aapne hame divide और आपस में लड़ा दिया. That's what we are doing. इस्लाम को ये कुछ किया. Now अब मैं आपको एक कोट देने जा रहा हूँ. और ये कोट जो है, ये हमारे लिटरेचर से है. और ये फैक्ट्स हैं जो मैं 200 साल पुराने फैक्ट्स एक किताब से आपको दे रहा हूँ, एक नोट से दे रहा हूँ. This is 2nd February 1835. Lord Macaulay reports about the Indian subcontinent before the invasion of Indian subcontinent by the Britishers. He says, I have traveled across the length and breadth of India, and I have not seen one person who is a beggar, who is a thief. Such wealth I have seen in this country, such high moral values, people of such caliber that I do not think we would ever conquer this country unless we break the very backbone of this nation, which is her spiritual and cultural heritage, and therefore I propose education system. Therefore I propose that we replace her old and ancient education system, her culture, for if the Indians think that all that is foreign and English is good and greater than their own, they will lose their self-esteem, their native culture, and they will become what we want them, a truly dominated nation. That's a fact. Sir, education has nothing to do with that. We were not that much educated at that time when we were valued people. It was the culture that gave us the value. It was the system that gave us the value. It was the home that gave us the value. It was the family that gave us the value. Once I was traveling with a justice, she was a female, by the way, family dispute resolution justice in Australia, in Victoria. And I asked, most of the family disputes that you might be receiving were coming from the male teens that are creating problem for the families. She said, Aleem, no, it's opposite. It's 75% of the females that create problem for the families. When this, look, they don't apply these things over there. They give us the money and tell us to do this and do more. All about that. Sir, आप अपनी values को follow करें, तो आप वापस 200 साल पीछे चले जाएं. मैं as a scientist आपको बताता हूँ, इस दुनिया में दो चीजें हैं, D और P. Development plus progress means destruction plus pollution. They are going to kill this whole humanity. We greed जो है ना, इस greed ने हमें बर्बाद कर दिया है. हमने family में भी greed डाल दी, हमने family system में greed डाल दी, education में greed डाल दी. सर आप अपने, हम ठीक है social engineers नहीं हैं, लेकिन हमारे पास वो values हैं जो रोजाना किसी न किसी amendment से change की जा रही हैं. आज हमारे पास transgender laws आ गए, कल हमारे पास harassment. Dr. Anita ne, she told all the acts and the resolutions that Pakistan is following, but that's not satisfying anywhere in the world. Nobody is getting satisfied. They say do more. Sir, uska fayda kya hua? 200 years we were much better than what we are right now. And that's what the Lord Macaulay says. So please forgive us. We have the capabilities, we have the capacities to come back. What we have to just follow is the preaching of Islam. That's it. With this, I'm thankful to Dr. Kamran for arranging such an important conference, and thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Aleem Khan, for the critical analysis. Now I'm gonna invite our last but not least speaker, our kind Professor Dr. Imtiaz Ahmed Baraij, for the vote of thanks on behalf of the Department of Sociology. Dr.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Respectable Chair, there may be some mistake in the hierarchy, but from the bottom of my heart, I am very thankful to Professor Dr. Hazrullah, Professor Dr. Ahmed Usman, Professor Dr. Rana Malek, and Professor Dr. Johar Ali, my elder brother just like, and Professor Dr. Muhammad Ali Shah, Professor Dr. Muhammad Nizamuddin, and Professor Dr. Nusrat, Dr. Lee, and all the other participants, such as respectable doctors. I'm seeing some pretty faces in Dr. Psychology department and education department, and Dr. Sarwat, Dr. Iram, Dr. Zakariya, Dr. Farhan, all my dear students, on behalf of the Department of Sociology, we are very thankful to you. You gave us honor. I just want to say, because time is running short, we will have the academic session. I just want to say, if you feel here comfortable, we are thankful. And if there is any shortcoming, we are sorry for that. In future, we will definitely improve it. I am also seeing Madam Farat with the डिपार्टमेंट हमारा जिन्होंने शुरू किया, और बहुत सारे नाम हैं, मैं एहसानमंद हूँ और वाकई मैं दिल से आप सब लोगों का और आप सबको लेके आने वालों का भी एहसानमंद हूँ। आपने हमें बहुत इज्जत दी। मैं ये बात खुदा को गवाह बना के कह रहा हूँ। मुझे अंदाज़ा है कि जब कोई बुलाए तो आप मेंटली फिजिकली यू आर एंगेज्ड 8-10 दिन पहले से हो जाते हैं। मैं उन बच्चों का जो पिछले 2 महीनों से काम कर रहे हैं, आई एम वेरी थैंकफुल टू दैम। और लॉस लगे हुए, मैं डॉक्टर कामरान, ही हैव कंट्रीब्यूटेड, डॉक्टर निजामुद्दीन हैव सेड कि ये चौथी दफ़ा है कि डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ सोशियोलॉजी जो है दे हैव मेड देयर लेगेसी। हर साल हम कॉन्फ्रेंस करते हैं एकेडमिक एंड रिसर्च में, वी हैव कंट्रीब्यूशन, we are doing, it is very low, it is very small, but we are doing something, and you contributed. The only role that if all the credit goes to the researcher, goes to those researchers who contributed and who will read their research papers. Again, I am thankful to each and every person in this hall on behalf of the Department of Sociology. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Imtiaz Ahmed Faraij. On behalf of Department of Sociology, I would like to extend a wholehearted thanks to all the keynote speakers. For the shield distribution, I will request Professor Dr. Aleem Khan, Pro Vice Chancellor Bahauddin Zakariya University, Professor Dr. Nizamuddin, Ex-Chairman Punjab Higher Education Commission, Professor Dr. Johar Ali, Vice Chancellor Khushal Khan Khattak University, and Professor Dr. Kamran Ashfaq, Chairman Department of Sociology, and Dr. Imtiaz Ahmed Faraij, Associate Professor in Department of Sociology, to please come forward and distribute the shields among the honorable keynote speakers.